and welcome again to my channel on communication and communication skills. We don't usually think of communication as any more than the language that we speak and the language we speak to other people. And while that is primarily true, there are also other communication styles and other ways of communicating that don't involve our language. For instance, there's body language, which you and your people witness with each other, which speaks to the way you speak to each other. There are pieces like eye contact, the way we hold our hands, the way we present ourselves, the way we speak, the manner in which we enunciate words, or which we don't sometimes, and the level of awareness and sense of well-being that we have about ourselves as well. And if we think about all of these pieces as communication tools, we can think about the bigger picture of how we communicate and why we communicate and what we could do differently. I'm thinking primarily in terms of how we relate to one another, both animal and human animals as well, and how we each relate to the greater world. And while we love to think that we just communicate with our own species, we also communicate with animals. We also communicate with trees and plants and insects and other beings. And while that communication may not all be English, I mean, we can try. We force it on our pets, on our cats and dogs and other animals. We think that they understand English and that they understand what we're saying based on what they're doing and the words they hear. However, they're understanding a much different level of communication than you and I are speaking, and than you and I understand through words and through the English language or through the other languages of the world. One of the pieces of communication which I think is interesting is knowing that insects communicate by color. Primarily the color that you give off when you're sweating, when you're breathing, or as you're emitting carbon dioxide. Primarily we're looking at insects like black flies and mosquitoes, and as well as some other insects that are feeders on blood and that see things and communicate in a way that you and I can't really understand. There are many different subtle ways that we don't realize how we communicate, but there are many and varied forms of communication that are not just words. The nuances in our words, the subtleties, the sound of being tired, the sound of being surprised or excited, the emotions that come through things, these are all very much part of communication and utilizing part of the tool set that we were given. I thank you for watching, and I thank you for being interested in language and communication styles. Cheers.